Hi guys, and welcome back to another one of our bow reviews from Find It Archery Supplies. Today we're going to do the bow that I know a lot of you have been waiting for, the brand new Win&WIn Inno Max. This one I have in front of me here is a 27-inch riser. This is the brand new carbon finish from Win&WIn, and as you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous. You can just see that carbon all the way through it. It's a matte finish, so it's a lovely carbon finish. Overall, this riser is not a bad riser. Very heavy. It's much heavier than the original Inno CXT, the one that this is just superseding. It's a very chunky design, as you can probably see from the shape of it. It's very boxy, and I think that was to improve on some of the rigidity issues that the original CXT had. Like I mentioned in the CXT review, there's been a case where a couple of them are broken, mainly around this sort of area of the bow. But with this, they seem to have strengthened it up. There's much more of a one-piece sort of theme happening with the bow now. There's a lot more tapered lines and sort of a better follow-through with the design of this bow. They come out with a bog standard wooden handle, and if you want to compare it to the CXT, it's actually a bit more of a nicer grip. It's very close. The grip is very close to a Samick Max in many respects. Your hand actually wants to just sort of sit in it quite nicely, and as you can see, like, I'm not really trying, and that's naturally wanting to drop into my hand there. So, you know, I've got a reasonably big hand, and my hand feels that grip quite nicely. So if you're doing a pushing technique, it's actually quite a nice position. The biggest and the most interesting feature about this riser is the new limb pocket design. And if you have a look there, if you can get that on the camera there, it's a very unusual system. Now, it works by dropping and pushing the limb into the pocket. So there's an insertion hole just here, and hopefully the camera will pick that up. There's an insertion hole just here. Your ILF limb pops in there and slides down into the groove. So this is very different structured as far as a limb pocket goes, and it's a very new concept. I've not seen this in any other riser yet. Most risers still slide straight in. This is quite a unique feature. They've kept the grub screw system quite nice, lovely big grub screws in here, so you can get an Allen key in there and really give it a bit of torque. Same with the adjustment bolt there for the tiller. You know, look, it's a very well made riser. Probably the biggest gripe over this riser over its counterpart is the fact there's no on or off with the weight. This riser comes as it is. This is a dead weight. Now this one's a 27-inch riser, and this is actually quite heavy in the hand. So, you know, if you're after a riser that's going to give you a bit more thud or a bit more density, this riser would probably start being on one of the ones at the top of your list. I've been reading a lot up on the Inno Max around the world and people that are using them and sort of gravitating to them. And the bulk of the people that are actually swinging to this are bare bow shooters. However, I do believe, you know, for the price of these risers, and they vary greatly around the world, it's a very expensive bare bow. You know, when there are actually probably slightly better bare bows out there. Would I use a full carbon riser for bare bow? It's not a bad idea. It's definitely a better idea if you're going to be using more of a full carbon setup as far as carbon foam limbs go. You'll actually get a nicer, sweeter shot out of it. That much will be true. But, you know, look, this is a brand new riser for Win&WIn. It's still really got to sort of set its pace into the world market, and I guess this year through the World Cups and watching the World Cups, we'll see probably a few more of these pop up as the sponsored shooter starts getting them and starts shooting them. And I guess we'll really see how they compare to the results of the Inno CXT, which, let's be realistic folks, was pretty much an unbeatable riser and a very, very successful riser for Win&WIn. And in my opinion, one of the nicest risers in the market today. So I haven't actually shot this bow yet. I'm still yet to shoot one, so I am flying a little bit blind here, but I can go by the feel of this riser. I'm very wrapped with the grip on this riser. I really like it. I don't think it's a grip that you're going to want to muck around with very much. I think you're going to want to leave this one pretty intact. However, I would say what I would probably do to this is just get a bit of sandpaper on this and rough it up a little bit if you don't want to put tape on. I just think this is just that little bit too slippery, and I can really feel it when my hand starts to get in there. You know, even with a bit of sweat in there, I think your hand would slip quite badly. So I do think that just roughing that timber up a little bit would not be a bad idea. I think it would actually make it a lot grippier. So look, as far as we're concerned, or as I'm concerned, great riser. I love the look of it. It's a really nice design. The matte finish on this is really nice because the carbon isn't actually sort of jumping out at you. It's quite subtle, the carbon look in this riser. Now I've seen a couple of painted versions of these, and they're very nice, very classy, very well painted. But these carbon finishes that Win&WIN are doing, they're finished. They're really polished. So, you know, if you're looking for a good riser, this is definitely much chunkier when you put it next to the original CXT. You know, you can just see the thickness of that front bar there. It is absolutely monstrous. And like I said in a couple of our reviews prior, a lot of manufacturers are swinging to this heavy riser. And a lot of it because they're aiming to the bare bow market. Uka have just come out with a brand new riser which is 1400 grams in its integrity. Exactly the same design as the original upright light, but this thing weighs a ton. It is 1400 grams. The whole point of that riser is for bare bow shooting. So there's a big market at the moment and a big push around the world on bare bow shooting for recurve. So these companies are trying to get in on it. So this is the way that they're doing it. They're making these risers heavier and more solid and thuddier, so that you can get that responsiveness without having to put weight and stabilizers and all the gear that us target shooters put on our bows. So look, as I say, this is a very nice riser, but one extra feature that Win&WIN have done is they have added a back weight here, so you can add extra weight. Now why they've put it at the back, I'm sort of a bit puzzled about it, because when this riser sits in your hand, it naturally wants to go back. So maybe putting that weight at the bottom will pull it down a little bit just to level it out. And I think, honestly, for bare bow, that's what they've done here. I think they've added that extra hole to get you on so that riser will actually come down in the shot. Because I would put any money on it. If we put some limbs on this right now and shot it with any weight on it, this thing would jump backwards like that very quickly. So I think they've had to do that to compensate for that forward movement. So they are trying to weighten that bottom of the riser down, and it's very prominent here. But look guys, out of a 5, this is definitely a 5. You can't pick anything wrong with it. It's just so finished. Everything about it's very tight, very clean, and of course it's very Win&WIN. You get your box, you get the lovely sleeve for it, you get your chamois, you get your little name tag and all your tools. It's very, very polished. And I think definitely with the Win&WIN mentality, especially with the fact that they look after Sebastian Flute as well, they really do want to put a definitive line between Sebastian Flute and Win&WIN. They want you to understand that when you buy Win&WIN, you are buying the best of the best. When you're buying Sebastian Flute, you're buying budget product. Now that's nothing against Sebastian Flute. There are some fantastic Sebastian Flute products. But you really do get that feeling from Win&WIN that that's what they're looking for. They want you to understand Win&WIN means quality. Win&WIN means the best. Sebastian Flute, it's our home brand of products. So that's really what they're going for here. They're really trying to get you to understand that their product is the best you can have. So guys, if you have any questions on this bow, if there's anything else that you'd like me to tell you about it, please feel free to drop me comments like you do on all the other videos. Happy to answer your questions. If not, visit our website as well, www.finditarcherysupplies.com.au. You'll see our pricing on there. At the moment, guys, when you watch this video, until the end of this month, being June, we are still the cheapest on Win&WIN Inno Max in the world to date. You will not find it cheaper anywhere else. However, at the end of this month, guys, the way the Aussie dollar is falling, we are going to have to put our price up. Now, please be aware, all the new limbs and the new Inno Max risers out of Win&WIN, there are delays. They're going to take 2 to 3 weeks to get. So I suggest if you want to get it at the price you want, at the price it is currently at, guys, get those orders in, lock them in. You must do that now. Limbs take at least 2 to 3 weeks. There are a big delay on limbs. So no matter where you buy it, some shops have got a little bit of stock, but overall, everything in far as this range of product is gone, and the new limbs which carry that new matte black finish in them, the X Primes and the X Powers, guys, they are pretty much order only at the moment. Even HMC 22 stabilizers carry that same sort of color, everything through it, all this new matte black finish. It is pretty much order only. As I said before, some shops do have a little bit of stock, but it'll sell very fast and it will have to be back on back order. So while we've got that pricing where it's at, I suggest you jump on in, get those orders into us, and we'll put them on the books and we'll get them ordered for you, and you will get it at that great price. But after that, these will go up to around $760, going from the $720, I think, or $730 that we currently got them at. They will jump up to about $760, $780 at the end of June. So we have to make that difference between the Aussie dollar there. But look, guys, any questions, please flick me an email, and we'll see you again soon.